Hi, welcome to today's Leaders in Mental Wellness and Diabetes, where you will hear insights from the top minds in the world of diabetes care. Hosted by Dr. Char.
Hi, Krstyl. How are you today?
Hi, Dr. Char. I'm doing so well. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk with you today.
It is a pleasure to meet you. When I look at your posts, they are amazing. The ones that I jump out at me, and every time you go back, there's another one that's better. So, but I like that some storms clear your path. Isn't that the truth?
Yes.
No one is you. That's your power.
Yes.
So it's no wonder you're in the empowerment world, but tell me a little bit about this journey for you personally with diabetes.
Okay, yeah. So, this is really how I got into my business too, but I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 12 years old. And it was like a shock to my whole family. But I remember the exact moment I was diagnosed. And the doctor came in and they're like, okay, she has type 1 diabetes. I had all the regular symptoms, the dry tongue that was like a sponge, and just going to the bathroom all the time and just lost a lot of weight. And I just remember my mom, she was telling me, she was looking up the symptoms and she's like, it says diabetes, but I think you're just growing. And she just, was kind of deflecting that. But when the doctor came in and told us as a family, I just remember she started crying and I kind of like consoled her. I was like, it's okay. And I was young. So I don't think I ever really gave myself time to process what was really happening. And so, yeah, I went to the hospital, was doing the shots. I remember I didn't want to eat because I was so terrified of doing an insulin shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and they're like, it's okay. I had a really great diabetes educator, Paula Devitt, shout out. She's like so amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it was after that, growing up with type 1 diabetes, I just remember always feeling really different than everyone, just in sports, in school, and in middle school. I remember I'd always have to go to the bathroom and do an insulin shot because I didn't want to do it in front of everyone. Or I was the person who didn't want to go to the nurse either in elementary and middle school because I just didn't want to be seen as sick, or I didn't want to be seen as different. And I remember in high school, that's when I got the insulin pump and my endo said, this is going to help you so much and everything. And I was just so embarrassed about it. It was just like this big clunky thing on me. And the meaning I had towards it was like, this shows that I'm different. And, diabetes, it is an invisible illness, but when you have devices, it makes you different and it shows that you're different. And that's at least what I thought at the time. And so I would hide it at all costs. I would put it, in my bra, or I would put it inside of my jeans, not even in my pocket, but inside of my jeans because I didn't want any tubing. I didn't want
And it goes sliding
anything.
down.
Yeah. I was like, wait, don't go that far. But I was just always so embarrassed and I hated to talk about it because I felt uncomfortable talking about it. And I felt like other people were uncomfortable talking about it too. Definitely when I would first, I dreaded the question, what is that? When they pointed to my pump, because that opened up the conversation for me to tell them I have type 1 diabetes. And I just remember I didn't know what to say. I was like, I have type 1 diabetes. And it was awkward. And they were like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, it's okay. But it was just so awkward. And I dreaded it. So that's why I hid it. And even just dating was hard for me because I felt that they might not want to date me once they found out I had type 1 diabetes. These are the thoughts that were going in my head. And I was keeping them all to myself too. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell friends. So I was really having this internal war with my own self on my diabetes. And for my first boyfriend, our first date, we went to the movies, and I remember I pulled up to the movies and I had my pump on with my sight, and I was just so embarrassed about it. So I took off my pump and I took off my sight because I just didn't want anything on me,
Right.
And we ended up dating for 4 years after that. And he knew about my diabetes, and he was so helping with my diabetes and everything. So I was really lucky to have him. But it wasn't until about 3 years ago that I really started my acceptance journey. I was 22. I just moved to Colorado, and I'm like, I'm still hiding my diabetes. I'm not giving myself insulin. I'm not checking my sugar because of this mental health of me not accepting my diabetes, of me not accepting myself. And it was when I was at the pool one day and I did my normal routine. I unplugged from my pump, I wrapped it up, put it in my bag. It was just a normal, habitual, unconscious thing for me to do. And I was just doing my work, and I saw this girl walk by, and she just had this like aura of confidence and of self-acceptance and self-love. And I looked, and she had like a quick set on her ass. She had her pump clipped to her bathing suit, and she had a Dexcom on her arm. She was just gliding, and I was in awe by her. And she went to the bathroom, and I got really excited, and I went in my beach bag. I got my pump back out, I unraveled it. I put it back on, and I was like, okay, this is going to be weird, but I have to ask her how she
Sure.
got confidence, because I don't know how. I have no idea how to actually accept my diabetes. And so she came out of the bathroom, and I asked her, I'm like, oh my gosh, we talked about diabetes for a little bit. And she's like, whoa, we had the same pump. And I just asked her, and I said, so how did you get so confident with having type 1 diabetes? And she just kind of was like, what? Like, what do you mean? And I'm just like, you're wearing your devices. You're like, you have all your friends over there, and you're comfortable around them. And like, how did you get this courage? She just said, this is just a part of me now. There's no other way but to accept it. And if I want to live a happy life, I just have to accept all parts of me. And she was just taken aback by it. She's, my friends accept me. I mean, it's just diabetes. It's a health thing. If someone's not going to accept me just because I have diabetes, like, I don't really want them in my life anyway.
Good for her.
Yeah. And that just opened up a little sliver in my mind where I could see the light for the first time ever after having diabetes for 10 years. And the thing is, not everyone goes through this either. Like, there's some people who are like, yeah, diabetes, this is me. But then there's also people like me who do hide their diabetes and who do feel uncomfortable talking about it, and who do feel maybe like they won't be wanted when they date people. And so I remember after the pool that day, I went straight upstairs to my room, and I got on my computer, and I looked up on YouTube, and I'm like, how do you accept your diabetes? And there was like nothing.
Mm.
And I looked up on Google how to accept your diabetes, and it was just a lot of surface level information, like, oh, well, don't care what people think, and like, love yourself, and just like learn to accept it. And I'm like, but like, how, like, how do I do this? And I wasn't getting the answers for myself how to do this. So I started creating those answers, and I was doing deeper research on like our mind and our patterns and authenticity and deep acceptance and deep self-love, how you can acquire that. And I went so deep into it, and I came out of this accepting my diabetes, not only my diabetes, but myself for
Sure.
who I truly, truly am. And it was just so lovely being able to wear my devices out loud and proud, like feeling proud, being able to talk about my diabetes with people without feeling ashamed or embarrassed anymore, and being able to go on dates and tell them I have diabetes and not be scared that they're going to reject me anymore. But I just cultivated this confidence where I'm just like, there are so many other people in this world who need this, because I found there's a hole in the diabetes industry where, it's all about our blood sugars and, our endo appointments and our A1C and how do you work out and balance your blood sugars and how do you do this and what do you do when you're high and when you're low. But it's like, what about the mental health side, and what about our life and our well-being and our mental health and our confidence to be able to be ourselves in this life with type 1 diabetes? And so I just had this huge revelation moment where I'm like, this is what I am meant to give to the world, to really help those people who are just like me. Like, I am them, they are me. And so that's really how I started my coaching business, and really helping empower other diabetics that they can live the life of their dreams and they still can do everything except make insulin. But they can really do anything on their mind and they can still live a happy life, getting rid of the social anxieties and being able to get low in front of your friends and having them be there for you and being able to talk about it, not it being this little deep secret inside of you. But yeah, that's how I kind of started everything.
And it is so good that a community is what it's evolved to now. So we're not isolated in these little corners.
Yeah.
Just quickly, when during my journey, I've
Mhm.
had more times of being thick than I have of being thin. So the pump, I would wear belts. I would try to find belts that were pretty, and I would wear it
Ooh.
on hooked on a belt because I felt hidden under my shirt was made me look thicker, quite honestly. Until one day I had someone express in their own way to let me know I was trying to draw attention with it. Well, with my outgoing personality, it's not been hard for people to call me an extrovert and out there for good reasons and bad. Everybody has their own opinion. But
Mhm.
literally, I thought to myself, really? You think, what would I want attention for this for? But
Yeah.
from there, I tried hiding it. My journey was a little backwards from that. But then one day I read an article once information was getting out there and we were seeing it all, right? I read where this mother of an 8-year-old gave the shot in the restaurant right on in the floor where the tables were. And she said, someone asked her about it. And she said, I refuse to take my son in a dirty bathroom to give him an injection. And I said, yes. So from that day to this, because I do now, I'm not wearing a pump, different reasons, but I am literally using my Dexcom and I take injections. I literally sit in a restaurant and I do it discreetly under the table. I don't want to freak people out that's afraid of shots or whatever, but I am not ever again going into a dirty bathroom to give myself a shot. Freedom.
Yes, that is freedom. Like, taking care of our health wherever it may be. And like, even if someone does have something to say, I've learned, and this like maybe it takes practice, but I used to take that so offensively too. And it takes like one time for us to change, like how you were so confident and outgoing, and then someone told you that you were seeking attention, and that changed it for you. And it happens like for like, it could happen one time where someone tells you one thing, and then you just shut off your confidence. And it just takes unraveling that to get back in the confidence. And if someone does say something, just not even taking it personally, which I know could be harder said than done, but like, this is our health, and just even explaining to them with kindness, like, oh, hey, like, I have type 1 diabetes and I need this insulin to live. So like, if it really bothers you, like, feel free to look away. Like, it won't hurt my feelings or anything, but just putting it back on them. And yeah, that's awesome though. You take care of yourself wherever you are, no
Ah,
matter what, not in the dirty bathrooms. Oh, I did that for so long. It's probably not sanitary or healthy either.
so we don't pretend it's easy and we sure don't want to be offensive, but thank you for learning how to take care of yourself. But I think the bigger piece is for me today, I love that you have learned that you want to do this to help others. We humans so well, and we don't give our attention to that sometimes, but to take this outside ourselves and want to help others, I think is huge. So my hat's off to you for that. Thank you for
Oh,
caring for
thank
others.
you. Yeah, I love to do it.
So from a business standpoint, it looks like you have lots of followers and you are, I don't know, are you selling your program? Do you have, tell me about your business and how you went from
Yeah.
taking that personal journey and turning it into helping others, but are you making money? Is that to be your lifestyle? Tell me all about the business.
Yeah, so I'm still, starting up my business and I'm creating awareness around it. I have been doing a couple of group coaching programs. I've done about 4 group coaching programs where we all collectively come together and we learn about accepting our diabetes. We learn about how to be open about our diabetes and how to be vocal about it. We learn about body image, with your devices, with maybe extra weight, with scarring, and then confidence with having diabetes in your life, and still being able to be yourself and being able to take care of yourself. So I've had 4 of those group coaching programs where I've gotten enough information and enough knowledge that I know these tools work. I've created a lot of different tools and frameworks that is a step-by-step
In
process.
growing the business. Let me ask you this, the acceptance course that you advertise, is that something that people can go buy from you, or is that something is it just a tool to read? What is the acceptance program and where can
Yeah.
people find it?
Yeah, so that is a program that really helps. It's called the Ultimate Diabetes Acceptance Course, and they can get that. I have a site right here. It's diabetesacceptance.mailchimpsites.com. That's where they can get it. Or they can also go to my Instagram, Krstyl with a K and no A .DeBruyn, and it's in the link there. And yeah, it's just a self-paced course for any diabetic who is wanting to accept their diabetes and wanting to gain this self-confidence to live the rest of their life with diabetes and have a fulfilling life. And there's tools, there's frameworks in there, there's mindset hacks, there's journal prompts to help you get deeper and kind of uncover these unconscious patterns that you may be living out in your life. Like me taking off my pump and just putting it in my bag, it was just a pattern I was doing. And looking at your beliefs about how you feel about your diabetes and what are your fears? Like, why don't you want to show your diabetes? Or why don't you want to do shots in public? Or why is it that you have trouble talking about it with other people? So we really uncover all of those beliefs to where you get back to your core. And yeah, self-paced, there's 10 modules, and it's really easy and simple to digest and apply to their life.
I know you're
So
saying it's 10 modules and it's self-paced, but is it safe to say if they did a module a week, it would be about a 10-week course, or is it shorter than that to do one a day? What do you think?
yeah, I mean, it's really up to the person depending on like how much time they have or how much desire they have. I've had people, take it all in a whole weekend because they're just like, oh my gosh, like I just want to indulge in this and get everything. And then I have people who also do like a module a week, or, they'll watch a video every other day. The videos aren't too long. I get straight to the point. I try to make them between 4 to 15 minutes. So it's like really easy to digest and to apply, because I don't want to just give people information. I want to change their life.
Yeah.
And this course will help them to apply and be able
Is
to
there a
do it.
charge? Is there a charge for it?
Yes, so it's $55, which is super affordable for all this.
Absolutely.
Yes, all this information in there, and it's tools they can use the rest of their life. Like even in 10 years, they can come back to this tool and say, okay, like I'm starting to face burnout. Like I'm going to go back into the course, or like I'm going to go on a date and I'm feeling a little nervous, or I don't know what's wrong right now, but I'm anxious. I'm going to go to the course and see what I could do. This course is for them to really use throughout their life. And it's meant to go through multiple times to really ingrain this information in them.
So patients can go buy the course for $55, but then while they're learning to change their mental health habits and learning to get strong in their acceptance, they can go to this empowered shop and get a cutesy shirt to wear.
Yes, yes. So that's another part of my business, is T1D Empowered. And I always had trouble opening up about my diabetes. So I wanted to make this shop that had cool, like dope, fly designs where diabetics can wear them and feel proud about their diabetes and have a conversation starter like, oh, you have diabetes? Like, yeah, I have diabetes, and spread awareness about it and feel good about it too. So yes, I also have Type 1D Empowered clothing shop.
Oh, when did
your
you start
audience.
all this? How long ago? How long have you been doing the business side of it?
The business I've been doing for about a year and a half. I started with my Instagram, and I didn't even know there was a online like diabetic community on Instagram, which was just amazing. And that's when I started my business, just started making videos just to really help people.
Mhm.
And then just the reaction just the reaction I got was like, oh my gosh, people need this. I was getting DMs saying, how did you gain confidence? And like, can you help me? And I was like, this is when I really needed to help people. So it's been about a year and a half.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And it's your first podcast interview.
Yes, this is my first podcast interview. I was so excited when you asked me. So I'm super excited.
And you're really good at it. So you don't even have to practice, right? You just have this, girl.
Thank you. I just speak from the heart, and I just try to be real too, the good and the bad about diabetes.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the mama that pulled you around from doctor's office to doctor's office trying to figure all this out and get you started, I'm sure they're very proud of you today.
They're so proud of me, and they just support me so much in everything I do. And even some days if I'm feeling low, she's like, no, like you're doing so much for the world. And I'm just like, yes. So I appreciate them so much.
Oh, yeah. Always room for gratitude moments for support system.
Support
Yeah.
is huge. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's why I love that we can be online, even though it's a trick for me to learn technology. I love the reaction of the very young when I say, before I had a Dexcom on my phone to know my blood sugar every 5 minutes, I remember the day when I peed on a stick.
Oh yeah.
I
Like,
remember when there was not the chance of knowing it every 5 days. But knowing that you're in this emotional side of things, let me ask you about that. We have it on our phone. It tells us every 5 minutes, and you have to have had it 48 years to really understand the value of that, I think, because I do remember not knowing my blood sugar until I knew my A1C, until I knew the doctor checked it or something. So it was
mm,
more difficult to control. But how many people come to you with anxieties or concerns because they know it too often, that seeing it every 5 minutes? Do you find that as a filter for people to over know, over have
Yeah,
more information than they need?
I do. Not people who usually check it like every 5 minutes, but sometimes I will tell people that sometimes with diabetes, we want to control everything. Like we want to control our sugars and we want to control this. And, I have a lot of people who are really afraid of future complications. And so they say that they check it and they check it. And if they're a little high, they get so much anxiety and they're just like, I don't know what to do. And I just feel like I'm going to, lose a leg or something if they don't control it every single second. And I just tell them, like, you can't control your diabetes 100% of the time. Like, there's so many factors that can happen. Like, you're gonna get low sometimes, and you're gonna get high sometimes too. And like, it's okay if it happens, just treating yourself with compassion and kindness that you are doing your best. And that you don't have to, you don't have to let diabetes rule your life with checking it every 5 minutes, because that's diabetes taking your life from you. And you want to take your life back and coexist with diabetes, but not let it take over your life. So, if you could still check it just to, correct patterns. If you see, you're going a little higher, like right now I'm like 102 going down. So I could like look at my graph and be like, okay, like maybe I'll have a juice or something. But yeah, there's no need to check it every 5 minutes. And just remember, you're a human being and you're doing the best that you can.
So your monitor doesn't tell you, doesn't beep you and tell you your highs and lows?
It tells me when I'm low and when I'm high. Like if I reach 79, that's when my buzzer will go off. And then that's when I'm like, okay, let's get a juice.
So I've been working at, instead of an eighth of an apple and a teaspoon of peanut butter, this new space I'm in, the nutritionist said, try eating the whole apple and no peanut butter. So I've had to adjust to the blood sugar difference, of what that does. But it really works good for me. Hear that?
Yes.
So lunch is over. I come to meet with you, and it's fortunate enough that it just goes off and tells me right now. And it said, but I've already had my insulin, but 168. Now, I love that you say we don't live by numbers alone, but dadgummit, in the middle of the night, I'm thankful that it tells me when I'm 34. But on the other hand, are you kidding me? It's beeping me.
Yeah.
So it is true. We are more than a number. We are more. Now tell me again where the people that might be in my little world, tell me where they can best find you to find all the empowerment, the confidence, all the things that you exude. That little girl, it was in that little girl by the pool that day. It was in that little one that put her equipment in off her body so nobody would see it, but it was hidden away. And now she's found that for herself and passing it on to someone else. Where can they best find you if they need to be that girl for somebody else or guy?
Yeah, or guy. I love that so much. Thanks. But yeah, they could find me on Instagram, just Krstyl.DeBruyn, and it's with no A to the Krstyl. And then I also have a free Facebook group, which is T1D Empowered, where they can come on. It's a community of just diabetics where we know what each other's going through, and we're there for each other if someone is having a challenge, or we're there for someone when someone has a win about their A1C, or maybe they went on a date and they're talking about their diabetes. But they can go there as well for empowerment, and also the ultimate diabetes acceptance course if they really want to dive deep and to really take control back of their life.
Well, my best suggestion is hook up with you on Insta and buy a t-shirt, if nothing else, and
Yeah.
get into that course and see what they can learn. Anything raising awareness and self-confidence, I'm all in. I'm all in. Thank you for what you do. Is there anything that you give suggestions or advice, or you try to tell everybody? Is there a statement you make? Is there something that you like to leave people with that we could maybe end this with today?
Just to love everything about yourself, everything, who you are, accepting your diabetes, getting a relationship with your diabetes, not letting it hinder your life in any way, just treating yourself with compassion and just really just being yourself. Just being yourself, all that you are, the weirdness, the dopeness of who you are, doing your shots in front of friends, talking about it, just being you, because no one's you in this whole entire world. You were put here to be you, and everything that you are is your superpower. There's no one ever in this world ever been like you, and there's never going to be anyone like you ever again. So embrace all that you are and just love everything that you are, because you're so amazing and you're so powerful. You're more powerful than you even think that you are. And you're just such a gift to this world. So keep being you.
Oh, that is awesome. Awesome. We will end right there. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for that wonderful smile to the world. And thank you for caring outside of you and passing it on, because everybody else is taken.
Yes.
And nobody has you but you. So thank you for sharing that to the world. Power to you, girl. Okay, thank you. And let's stay in touch.
Thank you so much, Dr. Let's definitely stay in touch. Thanks so much, Dr. Char. Bye.